beta, we discovered that Blizzard is actually setting up a brand new planet. A planet called Nashabor, the Settlement of the Blades. A planet where draenei used to live in the past, but those left stranded when the Legion attacked developed their own arcane-based civilization called the Nethersent draenei. Even crazier, they started living together with Legion defectors, and for the first time ever, we see friendly demons. This is a currently active planet, a super unique one as well, apparently inhabited by dangerous and intelligent beasts, but also filled with natural beauty. This new lore raises a lot of potential for future content with friendly demons, advanced spellcaster draenei, and of course, a whole new planet. So what is everything we just learned about Nashabor, and what is this planet about? Anything Warcraft related, Warhammer, Destiny, pretty much any game you can imagine, you can get at the best market prices with my link in the description below on Gamivo. On top of that, I got mobile top-ups, software, a whole bunch of other things. Even better, if you use my code DORON, you will get another discount on top, so click my link in the description and check out Gamivo. You might remember me covering this about a month or two back when we first got this information, but now, deeper into the Midnight Beta, there is a little bit more development, and honestly, this kinda seems similar to how they started building the Arati, the new light ones, as content for later or after the World Soul Saga. Realistically, there really is only so many undiscovered land masses and hidden islands that we can find on Azeroth, so at some point in time, we would need to go to a new planet for a new expansion. What is interesting though, as we've learned, this crazy cosmological war is really coming to an end, and most of the planets we've learned about in the past have been fully destroyed. Not many planets are actually active in the cosmos other than Azeroth. We've learned about destroyed Karesh, and so many planets like Zoroth, Zerath, Rancora, and such that were just destroyed or enslaved by the Legion. However, it turns out there is in fact a pretty interesting planet still active, inhabited by a different breed of draenei called the Nashabor and the so-called Settlement of the Blades. Real quick backstory on how this makes sense, but all draenei, as you know, used to be Eredar. They were native to Argus, then Sargeras came in, and one part joined the Legion and they became the Manari, the other, called as the Exiled Ones, or the draenei in their native language, they fled, and they were led by the Naru in their trans-dimensional ships. While you may know that the draenei lived on Draenor for a really long time, this was actually only one of their settlements because they were always chased by the Legion no matter where they settled. The only thing is the draenei always managed to get a heads up on the Legion and to escape, so on Draenor, the Legion decided to be more covert and they turned their neighbors, the Orcs, against them, which resulted in a disaster for their race. However, there is now another story, a story lost in time that we just learned about, the Nethersent draenei that were left stranded a few thousand years ago on a planet called Nashabor. Now, this new lore actually comes from the Midnight Zone Voidstorm, where we encounter these Dominar. Dominar are like these void generals, like very powerful figures, but obviously not on the level of Xal'atath. As chaotic beings, these guys enjoy toying with people, and what they do is they literally abduct people from random planets to fight in their arenas for entertainment, and this is the first time we encountered what we thought were the long-lost draenei, and it is super interesting. So naturally, we actually have trouble communicating with them because they have been split up for so long that their language is now different, and through a spell, we managed to actually hear what is going on, and the gist of it is they're trying to free themselves from the Dominar, obviously, and return home. However, their backstory is even more interesting. So what happened back in the day, draenei were led by Velen, and they actually settled and lived for a while all together, like all the draenei lived on a planet called Nashabor. This is an incredibly dangerous planet though. It is literally called the Settlement of the Blades, so honestly, I'm kind of expecting something like Blade's Edge Mounters or maybe Frostfire Ridge, but it is said to be a planet of natural beauty, crimson salt plains and purple lakes with massive rivers with lily pads. So it's obviously not like some hellscape, it's just a really wild, like nature-filled planet. The problem is because of this abundant nature, it is also home to powerful and massive beasts that constantly hunted them down. Now, it isn't described how Velen dealt with them when he was here, but I'm guessing with their transdimensional ships, they probably had some sort of magical shields to protect them, as the draenei usually do. One day though, the Legion discovered them, as was kinda expected, and the Draenei packed up super fast and fled in a rush with their transdimensional ship. But while in this rush, it appears that they had forgotten a significant portion of the population, and they literally just left them stranded on Nashabor to fend for themselves. So you can imagine how these guys felt, probably left without the shields, attacked by the demons, and now also having to survive against these massive beasts that inhabit the planet. By the way, these are actually completely regular Draenei. The one we speak to, Tulamar, says she was born on Argus and has followed Velen. What happened next was really strange though. I mean, the Legion attacks actually messed up the native species, meaning the planet became less dangerous, and actually a portion of the Legion actually defected on this planet and abandoned Sargeras and his burning crusade. These demons came to live together with the Nethersent, the name of these stranded Draenei, and for the first time ever, we heard of demons actually coexisting with the Draenei. In particular, they mentioned the Sayad, but I'm guessing there are other types of demons that live here as well, and we learned that they lived in such good relations that these demons started practicing Draenei dances and like Draenei rituals. Now, here's the thing, is these guys have been stranded here for a couple thousand years. I mean, they obviously followed a different path. We actually asked them about the Naru and how one of these Naru came to try to save them, but they actually shooed her away. Well, they don't despise the Naru or the light, they're very skeptical of them, and they know that the Naru are going to want to fix them and want to get them to serve their cosmological mission, while all these Draenei really want to do is just live their lives. So, just like the demons, they all abandoned their allegiances to the cosmological forces. They say that just like on Argus, they actually learned martial and arcane skills from a very young age, because remember, before the Eredar became light users, they were incredibly intelligent spellcasters and users of arcane. Here, however, their martial and arcane use was more important than ever to survive against these great intelligent massive beasts they had to contend with. Interesting enough, it seems like they have even advanced their use of arcane, and their Nethermancers are different from the Eredar ones, meaning their form of magic could be something we could learn from. Furthermore, we asked this Nethersent Draenei whether they would like to reunite with Velen and come to Azeroth, and they say no. While they're curious as to what happened with their cousins since they have been split up for so long, they're essentially their own race at this point, with their own culture, practices, and language. All this really makes it seem like they're setting up this planet for something in the future, and this is just a start. If something happens later down the line with Sargeras or the Burning Legion, we could actually come to Nashabor. So far, a relative snippet of information, but there is definitely quite a bit of potential here. Apparently a whole new Nethersent civilization and an actual neutral demon civilization as well, which by itself could be interesting. I mean, the planet seems quite unique. I'm guessing kind of wild like Draenor, and apparently inhabited by massive and powerful beasts that are also intelligent. So I'm guessing these are not your regular beasts or monsters, and probably something sentient behind them which makes them this dangerous. This could also potentially be a patch content, or maybe something related to the new Draenei capital that we know is going to be coming soon, and it will be interesting to see how it pans out. Not necessarily as like a Draenei expansion. I don't think people are going to be crazy about a Draenei expansion, but that could just be one part of the story. In particular, I think these neutral demons could be more interesting. I mean, we've learned from the Midnight prequel book that the Legion is trying to restart itself, but not led by Sargeras this time, and as you may know, demons were controlled by a fallen titan for the longest time, so now they could be doing their own thing. Nashabor could really be where this storyline develops. Thanks for watching. Check out my video on how Aetheric joined the Sons of Lothar by clicking on the screen, and check out my video on Titan lore and Greek mythology by clicking on the screen as well. See you next time.